Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, I decided to review one of the more forgotten but equally good episodes of Danny Phantom. To me, Teacher of the Year seems to fall out of discussion when it comes to better Danny Phantom episodes. Despite in my opinion how solid it is, it's one that I used to watch frequently whilst growing up. The main catalyst for this plot is Danny failing an English exam due to playing a game with his friends during the night. At which point, Technus takes an active interest in the game and plans to take over the online world. I like how they tie Technus into this episode. Most of the Danny Phantom episodes follow the villain of the week formula, but unlike this one, the villain aids the plot rather than the villain being the plot. Technus is little more than an irritating factor here, which is good. The conflict and point of this episode is Danny trying to tackle his online gaming addiction, opposed to taking down a massive world-ending threat. The strength of this episode seems to be the character growth and building of relationships, as this episode focuses on the human half of Danny and the issues of being a teenager. We'll see Danny struggle with a real-life problem and work to resolve it by the end of the plot, while he creates a closer bond with Mr. Lancer, who is an excellent character foil to a teenage Danny. Now, I love Mr. Lancer. He's one of my favourite side characters in the show, and this is the closest we get to watching him have a centric episode. Unlike other episodes, where his role was to be more of an authoritarian figure to the kids at Casper High, here he's more of a nurturing presence who ultimately wants Danny to succeed. I like that they went with Mr. Lancer here. They very easily could have created a one-off English teacher character, but I think it gives Mr. Lancer much more depth as a character going forward, and cleverly ties into the recurring joke in the show of him screaming novel titles instead of swearing. I think the only way they could have had this dynamic reach a slightly more satisfying conclusion would be if Danny was more hostile in his presence rather than being slightly aloof, but I still think it works effectively and delivers the point well. He's a teacher who wants his student to succeed. In terms of the gaming itself, I think Technus spends too long in the game. I think there's too much of a build up to a fight which really doesn't go anywhere, as Technus' villainy took a step back as the secondary plot. I think Tucker and Sam should have been the ones to beat him, rather than Danny throwing him in a glitch in the program. I think Danny receiving his grade should have been the end of his story and then cut to his friends stopping Technus. That being said, Mr. Lancer killing their game characters and winning the game is the stupidest yet most amazing ending to any Danny Phantom episode. It's such a strong screw the audience joke. I love it. That's not the only interesting reveal here. Sam is the mysterious figure that keeps killing Danny and Tucker, which is really great, as it's the episode's way of crushing demoralizing sexist stereotypes about women being bad or uninterested in video game culture, which is all the more satisfying after hearing Danny and Tucker be quite patronizing to her. This is especially great for a show that had aired around 2 decades ago. I loved this episode. I think if I were to do a top 5 episodes of the show, this would make it in there. I think it's a shame that this isn't as widely talked about as Ultimate Enemy or Fanning the Flames, as it deserves a lot of praise. That's just what I think though. I would love to hear what you all think in comments down below. If you like what you saw, could you please like and subscribe? It will help the channel grow, as I try to post new content as often as possible.